Yeah, but at the same time, even though I have full-on conversations with my dog, it does take me back a little bit when she does like. It's like, wait a minute, did you just understand what I said?
Yeah, sometimes they just look like they know, don't they? Yeah.
Someone have to let me know if I'm too loud or not loud enough. Or
You're always
I think
too
on the
loud.
last stream, you actually, I think you were a bit quiet
Yeah.
just on the stream,
Yes.
and we were all a bit loud. My voice was very tinny.
You're always
I think
too
on the
loud.
last
It's always like that.
stream.
there you go, it's just gone live.
You do have quite a lot of treble on yours. It's just gone live. Okay.
Hey.
Oh,
I'll start the timer.
it's flicking. Stop flicking. Screen is flicking. That's going to be annoying if it flicks like that. Oh, oh.
Yeah, you're well quiet, mate.
Am I?
And on YouTube, yeah. You're about a third of the volume of me.
I can hear you on the stream, Joe.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Hang on. Is it the stream flicking for you?
It is, yeah.
You're going between like the pause menu and game.
Yeah, that's stupid. Right, let's exit.
You're leaning on your escape key.
No, it's just for some reason how Mr. Tribby.
Hello.
Somehow
Hey, man.
how Shadowplay does things. If you tab out, it'll. So I'm just restarting the game, peeps.
Broken it already.
Yeah.
Hey, I be lurking.
I be lurking.
I be lurking. Yeah.
So my messy desktop.
Very messy.
It's not flicking now anyway. Does someone want to paste the link in the Discord?
Sure.
Hopefully it doesn't flicker now. Yeah, it's not flickering. The load times may be a bit longer because it's not a cooked version of the game, so it's not actually packaged, and that is will be happening tonight or even tomorrow morning. But this is everything that you'll see is the actual what's coming in the tomorrow's patch. But we're actually just running this straight from the game files.
Dad, I know where the candy cane comes from, that candy cane there.
Oh, do you?
Crack shot.
It doesn't come from this one.
No, it comes from crack shot.
Oh, okay. Take that, give it back to Harrison then. Hello, Mini Ryan.
Mini Ryan, yeah. Hey, Henry.
A good tar, Henry.
How about
Hello.
you?
Oh, I think the flickering stopped.
Yes, yeah, that's why we started. The new loading screens aren't loading. Hopefully they'll. Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh, it's still flickering.
I mean, it
Sure,
wasn't a minute ago, so
something.
it's probably because you're loading.
Right.
Could be.
Let's hope so, anyway.
Yes, it's been 2 weeks. So what we're doing is we will be doing patches fortnightly, and not the Epic game fortnight. but
Yeah,
actually
not Fortnite
every
patches.
14 days. Ah, it's Crackshot. Ah, there we go. It's there, darling. There you go. As my daughter walks in with a Crackshot figurine from Fortnite.
Nearly got your whole family in tonight, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta take it, darling. Go sit in there.
I need you to glue it together.
But I can't glue it together right this second.
Yeah, I've got monkey glue.
I haven't got monkey glue. Do me gorilla. Yeah, gorilla. It's not monkey glue. Bless her.
Monkey glue sounds like it could be a thing.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of wrong.
What is going on with Shadowplay, man?
Is it doing it on your screen? On your monitor?
You're not in just yet for me.
No, I'm not. It's not loading in yet.
Tonight's live stream comes with a seizure warning.
If you got something with epilepsy.
Oh no.
Give it a minute, it might be right, because it seems to be flicking back and forth between the last thing you had showing.
That is terrible.
Same his heart beating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what's going on there then.
Setting from,
Are you reading the comments?
I'm not at the moment. I'm trying to figure this out.
Mr. Trippy said, is it something to do with the game being in full screen or something?
Oh, yes. It might be. Thank you. Yes.
He says, never stream with Shadowplay, so I'm sure. Yeah.
Yes, it might be. Let's go.
Mummy sticked it into his
Oh,
hand.
it won't let me change screen. What's going on here?
Mummy sticked it in his hand.
Well, this ain't a good start.
Maybe there's a command.
While
I'll have a
Ryan
look.
faffs about with it, Scrub, do you want to try and update people on this sort of stuff you've been working on?
Yes, certainly. I will just be a second. While I see if there might be a after.
Flashing still? Yeah, it's flashing on my desktop now. Yeah, we can't have that.
Oh no, I thought it stopped.
There you go, borderless. That's what I want. There you go, I think that's fixed.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, sorry
done.
about that, people. Very
Saved.
sorry about that.
I was just
Saved
about to
by
set some
Mr.
elevator music going while we were waiting.
Saved by Mr. Trippy.
Hey,
Thank you, Mr. Trippy.
Right, okay.
somebody knows what they're doing.
So I'm going to turn Sen off straight away. And, and if you just go over what we've done.
Yeah, for sure. So this week, or sorry, over the last 2 weeks, we've focused on the player movement a lot, and we made some nice additions to just general movement options, movement speeds, and several animations and things like that. And I think the biggest change is the addition of the vaulting system. So Amy can now climb over fences and climb over other things, that are sort of waist height and up. And hopefully Ryan will demonstrate that in a minute.
Over, there we go.
Whoop. Yeah, so yeah, this is something we wanted to do. doing it. Yeah, we've had quite a bit to do to get everything in order, but as of right now, I think it's working quite well. It means you've got a lot more kind of flexibility moving through like back gardens and stuff, whereas before you'd just be stuck. So yeah, there's a variety of different kind of vaulting possibilities. You've got like I think you can vault quite high, like you can kind of pretty much as high as you can reach up, and then you can also do waist high fences as well. I think she can also do a step up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're hoping this is going to be a big kind of bit of a game changer, really. Just because of how many more options it allows you to use the environment to get around and all that. As a result, we've reduced the jump height slightly. So now that you're vaulting, you don't really need to jump quite so high as you were, which is probably for the best, really, because she could jump super high. Should be good. Zombies will be able to vault. They can't at the moment, but they absolutely will.
Yeah, so zombies will eventually, or infected, should I say,
Infected wanderers
will eventually be able to mantle walls and vault fences and stuff like that, just like you can.
Yeah, same for all the other NPCs as well if they're in fighting stuff. We're talking about some climbing possibilities for them as well.
Yeah.
And how they might work. So yeah, kind of in a sort of similar vein, the player can now climb out of water, which is something you couldn't do before. You had to sort of move out on a slope, so that should be good. And on the other sort of side of climbing, there's been quite a bit done to the ladders. The ladder animations before weren't very good. We've now replaced them with some nice mocap animations and added a bit more functionality as well. So you can slide down ladders by pressing shift and going down. You can lean on ladders as well, so if you're looking around using the free look, she'll sort of like hold onto the ladder and kind of turn outwards. And generally the ladders are just a bit better and kind of look a bit nicer and just a bit smoother.
I'll go down to some ladders and show you.
Yeah. We'll have to come back to the and out and safe zone, because I know you've done quite a bit to the visuals around the back. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll continue then. So we've there's a bunch of bug fixes as well. For example,
floatiness.
Oh yeah. Actually, I was going to say there's quite a few items across the world that we noticed were floating have been fixed. Obviously not these. But, bad example really, but yeah, no. Across the island, there's been some fixes to bits of foliage and some stuff like that. Other bug fixes, like there's a bunch of ADS issues, where you're aiming down the sight and doing things like if you died while in ADS, the camera would be a bit funny. If you got on a ladder in ADS, you get stuck. Like that. So that's sorted. Then I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes. Oh yeah, there was a funny bug where when Amy holstered her weapon after using a ladder, she would kind of just stop moving. That's been sorted. Nice shot.
Henry's asked if we can climb up the lighthouse now. Is that a working ladder?
No, that will be changed out for a working ladder soon. The thing is, a lot of the systems that are in at the moment... Ooh, what's that? What's going on there, Scrub?
I've missed... Sorry?
You'll see
what
it.
We're looking at.
That white box.
And the fact that she's not actually
Wow.
climbing down the ladder now.
That's...
Yep, definitely got ladder animations working. Yep, that's all.
Yeah, perfect.
Bug free.
That's just weird. That's something that we've done.
It might have been something in like the last...
Yeah.
How odd.
Yeah, so you can... Even sliding down is not working. Hang on, let's try again. Yeah, sliding down animations stop working as well. That's weird.
Just so people know, the patch doesn't actually go live until tomorrow night. Or is it tomorrow midday?
Yeah, that will be fixed for the patch.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Okay, well, that is not the best example, but
Let's move it on.
moving on swiftly. Yeah, so Amy's got a new she's got like a new kind of top, or not a new top. She used to have a prison top. We've made some tweaks to the backpack now, so the backpack's a separate item. So instead, her flashlight is now attached to a kind of vest. Yeah.
That's a better example of it.
Yeah, the backpack is now. I'm not sure if in the last patch she had a backpack at all, even, but now it's a separate thing that she can take off and drop and all that kind of stuff.
It's really weird. My cursor seems to be offset. Is that because...
Maybe that's because you're playing in borderless
Maybe.
and it's not packaged.
Oh yeah, look. The Joe alphabet's off the screen over there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's just the way it's set up.
Let's have a look. I might have the resolution wrong.
Mm.
Yeah. What's going on here? Let's change that.
We were just chatting before the stream, and the guys were saying as well that the those straps will eventually become weapon holsters for things on your back and things like that.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. We've tweaked the position of some stuff on her back at the moment. When we introduced the vaulting, we need to do quite a few kind of changes to the character as a whole to make it work. And as part of that, we decided it was time to adjust some of the positions of items on her just to make them fit a bit better. So, for example, her radio's now kind of on her back left, and things sort of fit together a bit better. And eventually, yeah, as Joe says, the holstering of items will be more specific to what you're wearing. So you'll holster, like a pistol in the right kind of place you'd expect on a vest or on your hip or whatever.
Mm. Hello to Andalus and King.
Hello.
Andalus Gaming. Will there be a male character later? Yes, definitely. We started off with female models purely because that's what we had available at the time. When are we aiming for that, Ryan?
As soon as we get the DLC thing sorted, because the way that we understand DLCs work for Unreal Engine is you have to pack them a certain way. So as soon as we sort of get that sort of like workflow going and start releasing sort of like the gear packs and stuff like that for other backers, we'll then start adding all the new NPCs and the new protagonists. People that obviously backed on Kickstarter will unlock certain protagonists before they come available in the game, so they'll come as like a DLC unlock for those people. But they won't be DLC unlocks for everyone else. When we release them to the public, they'll just be in as an update. So yeah, it'll be very soon, but not for a few patches yet. The thing is, we've been sort of like concentrating on getting the foundations of the game down, optimization, and implementing all the new characters, so we can start adding all the new character animations and all the other systems and stuff like that we have planned.
A lot of stuff that I think has been done is kind of been geared towards acting as a sort of a basis for future development. Like the character work that's happened, it's impacted some stuff now, but it also impacts adding new characters and things. So it's quite important for that, and also means that we can do it sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, the area that Ryan's been running around just here, this is a kind of new bit that you've been working on, right, Ryan?
Yeah, this I'm starting to expand Hanout a bit, and we'll be expanding it even more. So then we can sort of like get all the optimization done for Hanout and then move on to the next area and start doing other towns optimizations and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you want to show us a bit of the safe zone since we're here?
Yeah, these are all nice new walkways that will eventually go the majority of the way around the safe zone walls. Going up to these are some nice weapons. So there's new loot spawns and that at the top of the guard towers.
I was glad to see them up there actually. It's always like having something to find at the top of these towers.
But once we start dressing this out, we'll start dressing it with, you know, so there's some proper sort of like a deck chair, so it looks like it's been lived in kind of thing.
Yeah. Andor says, will the game be PvP too? Yes, there is PvP in, but we are doing loads of we talked about this quite a lot before. We're doing lots of things to steer people away from kill on sight thing, because we've found it in the past quite frustrating in games where you're trying to survive in a survival game and there's no collaboration between people, because essentially it just becomes a PvP game only. So you can PvP, but you'll get punished by the game for it. So it's kind of like playing on really hard mode. To summarize it really briefly. You'll be hunted down by teams of NPCs and you won't be able to trade in safe zones and that sort of thing if you're a PvP player.
It'll also be very clear to other players that your integrity is low, so
Yes.
you'll become a bit of a target to other players as well, which in turn makes it harder.
Yeah, we started to implement in the new UI. Yeah. Do you want to talk a bit about the new?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the elements that used to be kind of like 2D HUD elements, we've refreshed a bit. So for a start, you'll notice that in the bottom right-hand side, you've got some prompts telling you kind of what controls to use. Those prompts change depending on what you're doing. So if you're say if you got into a vehicle or were swimming or something like that, doing some activity where your key bindings change, then those prompts will update just to remind you kind of what you can do. And as Ryan was showing you there, we've also worked on a new vitals screen, so you can it's kind of like a 3D view, which connects your staff system. So the staff system is the kind of watch she's got on, which contains all the information about Amy's well-being, her vitals, her energy, how she's doing. We've kind of updated the look there. And what Ryan's doing there with the scroll wheel is when you open your inventory, you've got those hot bars. Hot slots, hot somethings. Key important things, slots that are important. He's dragged items in there, and now using the scroll wheel, you can quite easily scroll through what you've got. So hopefully it's all a bit smoother, looks a bit nicer.
Yeah, it's all over to the left-hand side at the moment for some reason. I think it's because of the screen being stretched by this strangeness. I think the shadow play's been a bit of a numpty. Let's do that. And then F11. Has that fixed it?
I think it does. Yeah. Everything shifted to the right. Or shifted to the left, I guess.
Vitals are still...
Came in from the right.
Yeah, vitals are still shifted to the left there.
Yeah.
Hey, Zombieland Gaming.
Hello.
Nortroll as well. Nortroll would like to know, when will they improve the graphics? What do you mean, mate?
But yeah. Graphics. Say what?
So yeah, the safe zone's expanded out a bit now behind Ryan there. That means that there's now going to be more room for NPCs that we want to be adding, especially like traders and stuff. Because it was a bit tight before, so now you've got sort of living space. And the kind of porter cabins that you had in the safe zone, they've been changed out now, so they'll make for sort of more appropriate living space. Yeah. So let's have a look at the list. Oh yeah, actually on the subject of vitals, so if Ryan presses V for a second. If Ryan presses V for a second.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you have, it's just like, me being slow. That's alright then. Yeah, so, on there, if you can see energy. Energy is now kind of an important part of the game. If your energy goes too low, you're going to start seeing your movement speed decrease. So as you know, it's actually become a kind of important vital to maintain. And you can increase your energy by eating and resting. Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's it. If you're running or swimming or doing kind of like really intense exercise, I think we're probably going to tie this into vaulting as well at some point. But if you're doing these kind of really intense exercises, you can see that energy really just plummet. So kind of conserving your energy is going to become sort of important. You're going to want to consider exactly how much sort of swimming or you know, heavy exercise you're doing. Sort of save it for those moments where it really matters.
Zombieland Gaming, did you see the inventory bug I found? You can't close it or anything, you need to shut down the game. When did you post that in our Discord? And how long ago was that? Because some of these guys have...
If it's in Mantis, we've seen it.
Guns jammed up.
We do pay attention to all the bug reports. I don't know if there's a fix for that just at the moment, but yeah, be rest assured that it's, you know, we take that seriously. You know, and all bugs are sorted sooner or later.
Yeah, it's one of those things you can only do one thing at a time. Henry says, basically where are we at with containers?
Oh right, yeah. At the moment the chests, like the cupboards, the interactable cupboards, they're not in at the moment. They are sort of undergoing repairs really. We're gonna change out. I think we mentioned in the last live stream, but we're gonna change out some of the UI elements on that as well, so that they work a bit better. So they're a bit more intuitive and usable. In their current state, they didn't quite work right, and that also caused bugs where it could stop the game from working properly. So we're just sort of we've kind of got that in mind to kind of revitalise them as a whole and get them working properly.
That's good.
I need to find some more ammo soon.
I want both good graphics and game running awesome. Yeah, I mean, what is it about it that you're not sure of, mate? I think you came in our Discord a little while back, didn't you, asking some sort of difficult questions. So if there's a genuine question you want to know the answer to, then go for it, mate. But otherwise, we'll probably just leave you to make your comments. But by all means, if you have a question, if you wanted to know something about the game, for real, then definitely ask us. We're always up for answering questions. Sorry, Scrub, I interrupted your...
No, not at all, not at all.
Thanks.
I mean, the only really thing I was going to mention beyond that was changes to the kind of the general feel of moving. So as Ryan's running around, we've made some updates to the camera. So hopefully, as you're sort of moving around, it feels quite a bit more. The camera motion should hopefully support the motion. It'll feel a bit more fluid, a bit more engaging. So there's a bit more sort of head bob. You'll see that as Amy starts to really move faster, the camera sort of adapts to that, and as she slows down, the camera starts to steady out. The intention being just to really kind of support the impression of movement. We reduced the field of view change on running a bit. It still changes a little bit, but we felt that it was just a bit too much. So we decided to add a bit of kind of camera motion with the movement as well, just to kind of balance it out a bit. Kind of hopefully looks a bit better, feels a bit better to play. But you know, feedback on that would be really useful. We like it. But, let us know what you think. Also, while it's in mind, another little important update on the subject of field of view. we've tweaked the weapons a bit. We spent a fair while looking at options to do with the sights on weapons, or scopes, because they're not quite working as intended at the moment. They're sort of a bit glitchy, and we've made a step in the right direction, where we've swapped the way in which they zoom in from a capture to a field of view change, which most games do. The reason for that is pretty much just performance. It used to be that the performance would absolutely tank when doing this because it was such a kind of intense operation, but by changing the field of view you're still getting the same amount of zoom, but you're not seeing that lag spike. But we do have a way to go with it as well, because we've got some ideas of things we want to try to help kind of really sort out the scopes, but they're just sort of work in progress. How are you doing on hunger and hydration? Because I still haven't heard the new voice lines, and that is a new thing. Voice lines.
Yeah, no, she's had the guns jammed and the ammo's getting low on ammo, but.
Okay, well that's my own fault for having the stream muted.
But yeah, I'm just trying to work that down. So.
Yes, so new voice lines. We've when your gun jams, it's nice to have a bit of an audio prompt to let you know that that's happened. So that's there now, and also just more stuff for hydration and hunger, just to let you know when you're getting low.
We've got a great voice actor doing Amy's voice. I will stick her Twitter handle in the chat, so if you guys wanted to follow her to see what she's up to, because she does a lot of gaming videos as well. That's her on Twitter, @NicoGoatee. So she's Amy's voice, so you can watch her making other videos on content and other things as well.
Do you know, the stream does this absolutely no favours. The quality of it, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so by all means, if anyone has any more questions, feel free to shoot them our way. In the meantime, anyone who's been playing the patch up till now will really be pleased to know that we've sort of made some changes to the way in which can openers spawn. So they're not super rare anymore; they're just kind of rare. They weren't spawning as individual objects in the world. You could only get them from tool crates and places like that. But now they spawn as domestic items. You can search houses or any number of places to try and find them.
In case anybody in the chat is wondering why we're going on about can openers, we've had a fair amount of comedy rage in our Discord about people not being able to find can openers anywhere, as they're one of the rarest items in the game. So we've made changes to that.
Yeah.
Just to prevent people rage quitting when they can't open their beans.
I'm gonna be honest. Until people brought it up, I really didn't. It didn't even cross my mind that was going to be an issue.
It was one of the first things I looted when I played through it last time I played through.
Oh,
So.
lucky you.
I've seen a few people do it. I have them, shall I say?
Is that picks for increasing the can opener chance, or?
No picks, what didn't happen.
No, I didn't take. I promise I found a can opener. I didn't just Photoshop a picture of a can opener onto a screenshot of the game.
Yeah, there were a couple of adjustments to the building system. Well, not really adjustments to the building system, but more to the UI. There was a few UI elements that were missing for what resources you need for certain items. Those have been sorted. Very artistic.
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, what I think of it is, guys, is this the Oh, actually, before I say that, Divine isn't good. Why can't more indie games come to console? We would love it if we could do that, but it's a whole new process to port it to console, and it is part of our plan to do that. But yeah, it's just a really hard thing to do.
Yeah, we are planning on it. It's just it probably won't happen until more to time of full release of this, because we'll be coming out on Mac and Linux as well. So we want as many people to experience Jaws of Extinction as possible.
Yeah, it's just a long process.
I think it's just you become very limited by an awful lot of things as soon as you start branching out into that way, and we're prepared to do it. It's just it's very hard to be limited by so many kind of considerations and build up the kind of core game at the same time.
Henry said, try putting a fence on a wall. It wouldn't work for me. Taco says Sony are dicks. Just to clarify for anybody from Sony watching the stream at the moment, we're not technically affiliated with Taco. We don't know him.
Don't know what else to show off, really.
Yeah, I mean it's just been. I mean the core of this patch really is just to do with improving and smoothing out movement, making more options. So it's not like there's the environment hasn't exactly hasn't had a big game change or anything, but just the way in which you play and smoothness should hopefully all feel a bit better and give you a few more things to play with.
Yeah, definitely. What are we looking for on time, Joe?
Say again, sorry.
How
are we on time? Where are we at? We've got 23 minutes remaining. So I guess for the next little while, we'll just play through any questions anybody has, throw them our way. Otherwise, really, it's just demonstrating what we're at, and you guys will look at the game.
Let's see.
Brian, have you got a can opener in your inventory at the moment by any chance?
I haven't been in any house. I haven't really been looting. Let's go loot some houses. Well, go the quick way.
Yeah, taking bets in the chat on how long it takes for Ryan to find a can opener.
The thing is, I know the odds. I wouldn't make that bet. I mean, you'll find one eventually, I'm sure. But...
Oh, what's going on? Water's bugged again. Let's go normal way.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Camera got bugged then.
That was literally the very last thing we were working on before the stream, to be fair.
Yeah.
not too surprised if there's something going on there. Echo asks, did you just easily vault a barbed wire fence? Well, Amy might be very dexterous. Who can say?
Yeah, we'll probably end up making that so barbed wire fences actually do cause you damage.
I mean, in the prototype they did do damage, and we did want to make it so that defenses are fences. They will hurt people attacking, both players and wanderers or anything else. I think this is one more aimed for people who have already been playing the alpha a lot, but you might be interested to know that we've decided to finally disable the help pop-ups from coming up every single time you open your inventory, pausing the game. We just found that it was getting a bit much, so, but you can still get to the help button if you hit the question mark symbols in the inventory. Better bring them up.
Oh, Ruff's in the chat. Hey, Ruff.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Indeed.
Hello there.
Not seen you for a while, mate. How are you? Good. In case people didn't know it as well, obviously you can obviously see here that this building doesn't have an interior at the moment. It's just an empty shell. Ryan has been populating the houses one by one, basically. So it's a long process, but he mentioned earlier that he was starting with Hanauten. That's the starting area you're in when you first start the game. Lots of the houses there are starting to be filled with bits and pieces. Like the first house that you're sent to on the tutorial by Sheriff Sen is his house is populated as an example of what the houses will all look like eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. And they should have lots of detail, and they'll be just like Sen's, which kind of really reflects the character of the person who lives there.
Yeah, to do it so there's multiple
I have
stars.
to find something to drink.
There we go. What was I saying?
Styles of houses.
That's because
Interiors.
yeah. There's going to be lots of different styles of houses, so it's going to take time to do each individual one, but we will get there eventually.
Oh, that's interesting. The Wine Journal here says, "Is it me or does she run very fast?" We've been talking about this. It's been a kind of hot topic of conversation for us about how fast exactly she runs and how she should move. Given that we've been changing a lot to do with the movement and stuff. Like I say, we did decrease the jump height to make the vaulting make more sense, like that. So it's good to get people's thoughts. Also, I mean, as a matter of interest, Amy is supposed to be a sprinter, as Joe will tell you all about. So, you know, maybe it makes sense to be a fast Amy.
Yeah, each protagonist will have different characteristics, like Adrian. He's a swimmer. Oh shit.
Yeah, protagonists all have different strengths. So Amy's strength is that she's faster. I think Tristan's was that he was smart and he gains experience quicker or something like that. We never quite settled on those, but that will be something we'll work on more as the game progresses.
There is a jogging option, yeah. You can tap control when she's running to toggle between sprinting and jogging. We've also, she can no longer sprint backwards. That was a thing that was happening, but it makes sense that she can only kind of jog backwards at best. Also, you can't really spam jump anymore. It's only a very slight delay in between jumps, but it's much more reasonable.
Go on.
I was just going to say, how far are we from the patch where we start people off with fewer resources?
Well, we were actually talking about doing that this patch or even next patch.
So
soon.
Maybe I'll find something useful.
because people have been starting at the moment with a lot of resources for building and other bits and pieces, purely because finding the stuff you
What's
need
in
has been
here?
difficult and people can have a bit of a sandbox experience.
It's not that it's difficult. It's that we started off because you're supposed to be testing the game basically. So it was like, well, rather than making you grind for all the resources, we'll give you some to start with.
I think it's fair to say we are moving out of that stage now, where
Yeah.
we're becoming a lot more. Things are a lot more robust. So, and it's becoming really more of a game now. So it's only fair to challenge the player, I think, and ask them to find their own resources.
Right, you were about to say something, sorry.
Oh, I can't remember what I was supposed to say.
I'm too busy playing. You said after the last stream how how it's either you can play or you can talk.
I could never be a streamer or a YouTuber. I really couldn't, because I'm just terrible at being able to talk and actually play at the same time. But this is the character jogging. So yeah, there is a jog, and you can also toggle walk. So they'll just walk. Just looking for a can opener.
I've forgotten about that.
I think I better close this.
Let's see. Maybe I'll find something useful.
In case anyone wants to... Oh, sorry.
Go on, no, go on.
I was only going to mention that there was a bit of a bug in the last patch where Sheriff
Just
Sen's
junk.
voice lines would kind of overlap.
Nothing.
Part of the quest when in Dom's Hardware, which is the
Just
store here.
junk.
Um,
What's in here?
we're gonna do some tweaks to make sure that never happens, but the particular
Maybe
issue
I'll
that was
find
happening
something
in this
useful.
store with that one particular line overlapping should be fixed for this one, so you actually hear what he's saying.
Oops, didn't want to do that. Well, I can eat tin food, so I must have a tin opener. I don't think there's some food that you need a tin opener for, yeah. Some tins, like these ones, you can actually eat without a tin opener.
This is one of the what are they called, the cool rings.
The what?
You know, like some tin food has like a ring that you pull, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm totally just making that up as I go along, but
Let's see.
No, that's totally
What's in
a thing.
here?
Bit like cat food.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bug, it's a feature.
Why doesn't cat food? Why does cat food come with pull rings?
Because cats
Don't have thumbs.
they don't have opposable thumb. And, can
So they made rings for the cats.
They can do that with their claws.
Totally.
Well, shows how much I know.
Yeah, tuna. Again, tuna's a cat's favourite, so needed ring pulls.
Come on, we're gonna find. Whoa! That was still a thing. Didn't realise that was still a thing, man.
The delay on the stream is killing me.
Yeah, you'll see it. Just now.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Tuna is for humans too. That's why they also make tuna that doesn't have a ring pull.
Maybe I'll find something useful.
I want it to be known on stream that I love tuna pasta so much. So good.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone's glad that they.
Yeah, but everyone feels happier.
Yeah.
Knowing that piece of information about me.
Tuna that has pull tops for sandwiches. Well,
Just junk.
the wonders of modern technology.
I wonder if I can vault this now.
Dynamite works too. Yeah. We should probably have it so that you can place a can of food on the ground and shoot it to open it.
I was going to say, to do what exactly?
Is it?
It could be an
To,
interesting lure, I
Yeah.
suppose.
I was literally typing that out as you said it.
To be fair, I don't think I've seen any game use that before. A food lure. Not like that.
I think. Oh, I've just seen it pop up. Want to shoot them to open it? Yeah, indeed. I know it wasn't a lure, but didn't 7 Days to Die? You have meat in your inventory. It draws the zombies to you in their game, doesn't it?
Oh, that's interesting.
Not played it for a long time, but I seem to remember that being a thing.
What's she holding? She's not holding nothing. What? Where are all these bugs coming from, man?
This is always the way. It's the moment you present anything, you can go for months in your own test world. And then we start a stream, and then we find all the other bugs.
It's like finger guns, but with an assault rifle.
Yeah. I haven't seen that bug since.
I've
like,
never seen it. No. I hope you know what you did.
No idea.
That's the thing about alpha games. People sometimes these days, I think that if it's an alpha, it's going to be a finished game. But I think we've kind of, as a gaming society, lost track of what it means to be an alpha. Like the game is still being developed. There's still stuff in it that's broken at times that needs fixing. That's the whole point of it being an alpha, because we're not charging the full price for a game because it wouldn't be fair. So, like, it's to the point where you can play it and enjoy it, but you're going to find stuff sometimes that is a bit broken.
I mean, we released the private alpha as a, with the interest of testing, and I'm really, the results that we got from that were really, really good for just determining what was working, what wasn't. It was a really good test bed for us, but really was an alpha by definition.
Yeah. Yeah, this is basically just Alpha Part 2.
Yeah. These porter cabins, are they Chris's models?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good chunk of what's in the game is Chris's models.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we've been replaced, like, making everything his, haven't we, which is good.
Yeah, we're
Taco just said in the chat, Chris, those houses look good.
Yeah, slowly replacing them as time goes. All the so all this, these are Chris's. These were Bibby's. The towers, the walls, the gates, the walkways, vehicles. They're all Chris's models. Very talented guy.
Indeed.
Sure is.
He's gone for a sort of like a slums kind of look for this bit.
Yeah. That's how it'd be, really, isn't it?
Yeah, like I say, we'll end up having, when we start decorating it out a bit, we'll start having sort of like NPCs sitting there with deck chairs and stuff like that. And I'm gonna round this way is gonna be like all sort of like market traders.
Sounds good.
And stuff like that. So all this area will be sort of like a market area where you can go visit different types of traders for foods and weapons and clothing and crafting gear and tools.
These porter cabins will be rentable as well, that if you've got good enough integrity with the safe zone, like if they trust you enough, you'll be able to hire them. And we talked about having things in them like water, so you'll have like a water container, so it'll collect water, so you go back to your rented porter cabin every now and again and you'll be able to collect the water that's there, so you'll have a regular source of water, that sort of thing, if you upgrade it to include that. 5 minutes on the timer, Ryan.
Alright. Okay, well, we'll wrap it up then. Anyone have any other...
Last questions. Last call.
Yeah.
Taco said, how come some don't have doors?
Just because I haven't finished yet, mate. They will all have doors by the time the patch goes out. Just I'll finish adding all the doors.
Ruff brings up a good point from earlier, actually. He talks about back when we were talking about smell of meat and stuff. He says maybe smell could be a factor and wind direction for both wanderers and hunting.
Yes, it will be. There's actually going to be smell in the game, and you'll be required to craft like wash stations and stuff like that to wash yourself. Obviously, giving off human sweat and stuff like that, and also you'll be able to camouflage yourself with mud and entrails and stuff like that to disguise yourself. So, but you'll need to eventually wash them off before they start causing infections and illnesses and stuff.
Zombieland Gaming, you guys aren't going to put an Epic Games move, will you? What do you mean?
I don't even know what was going on with this Epic Games thing, to be totally honest with you. We use that engine, that's about as much as I follow of Epic Games.
Ah.
What is it that they've done?
I mean, my last understanding about Epic Games was something a bit of a controversy to do with sort of Steam information, but I mean.
Oh yeah, that was what I mentioned. Yeah.
Games like Outer Worlds announced they are going Epic Games.
Oh, as in like becoming Epic Game exclusives.
Oh, I see. No,
Oh,
no, we're not
exclusive.
gonna.
No.
No.
No, we are officially partnering. Would you call it partnering? I don't know if you'd call it partnering.
I don't know what the right term is, but...
Yeah, we're sort of like going with a couple of new platforms that are coming out. Obviously, the game will be available on Steam, and another couple of things are The Abyss, theabyss.com. If you wanted to look at that, we're being announced on there very soon. Actually, it's within the next sort of week or so. And then there's another one called Robot Cash, and that they all have where you've got purchase like their like exclusive currency and stuff like that, and you can earn referral rewards and stuff like that and resell games.
I mean, on the face of it, they do seem very similar to the traditional kind of resellers, but the structure is a bit different. It's quite interesting what they're doing, because if you're, I mean, if you start using them regularly, it looks like you can. They're offering certain benefits for using their kind of structure, so it was worth having a look at anyway.
Yeah. Zombieland said it was all advertised on Steam forever. I think it's a dick move for games like Metro Exodus and Outer Worlds. Used Steam for advertisement and pre-sales, and then went to Epic. Yeah, I know what you mean. No, we're not doing.
No, we've got no intention of doing that at all.
What's in here? Maybe I'll find something
I think it's
useful.
always been an important thing for us to do things honestly and with transparency. It's easy to build up mistrust with a community, but we've got a really good community based on trust, which is good. And hello, Harrison.
Awesome. Hello.
Ryan's eldest, who's joined us in the chat for a bit of... Yeah. Steam doesn't...
In fact, I think Ryan was stood literally here last time Harrison joined us. So good timing.
Alright, yeah, time out.
Well, thanks everyone for coming.
Nice to see you all.
Yeah, remember if you're not part of our Discord community, just jump on there, discord.gg/JoGame. You can visit our website at playjo.gg or jawsofextinction.com, whatever you find easier to type in or remember. Yeah.
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 Been good. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Catch you later.